Welcome everybody back to Pro League, live in the Next Arena. My name is Valdez, joining with me is Wolf, and boy do we have a day of games for you guys today.
Yeah, well, it's Monday, and Monday is always notorious for great games. Look at those great casters up there on screen as well. It's just going to be good all around today. We're starting things off with Jin Air versus MVP, but later on, we're going to have the Telecom Wars. So I'm hoping that one goes to an ace match. I don't know if it will. The lineups are pretty unique for a Telecom Wars, so a lot of things could happen.
Yeah, I guess you can call it a problem. You know, a bunch of members from a lot of these teams. I mean, even from Jin Air Green Wings, you see Maru's not in the lineup. A lot of these guys are like on planes coming back to Korea, or they haven't even left yet because, you know, IEM just finished up the Katowice, and of course a lot of these players are not here in the lineups, and so some of the other players that are a little bit lower than those ace players are going to get their chance to play today, which is really interesting. We get to see Pig Baby here for Jin Air Green Wings. That was one of the guys where I'm like, ooh, I really want to see this guy actually.
Yeah. And we've got MVP here on the other side. Now this works out, I feel, in the favor slightly of Jin Air, just for some of the other teams, because in this moment, Jin Air gets to play against one of the weaker teams in the league. I mean, MVP is looking pretty strong, but you know they're not going to be playing against SKT or KT today. And at the same time, for the SKT and KT match later, it's kind of like an even trade for players they may have sent, because they're both sending players, so they both have players missing, for example.
Yeah, exactly. And looking at our first matchup here, it's going to be SOS versus Losira. I'm sure the one thing that Jin Air is not so happy about today is that SOS did have to face that ace player. SOS, these days, not doing so well against Zerg. He's being very experimental. I'm not even sure what the word.
Experimental, I think.
Experimental, okay. And he's just not playing that well against Zerg overall. And the fact that MVP was able to snipe that guy out with Losira, quite nice. I mean, I guess they could have tried to send one of their other Zergs out to possibly snipe him, but able to start off here with a possible win for MVP is quite nice for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really, really good situation for them, and to be able to beat a player like SOS would be great as well, morale-wise. We'll have to wait and see how this one turns out. Let's take a look at our rankings currently. I mean, it's still pretty early, but we're starting to see a little bit of variation here. You know, CJ Entis, not only are they 2-0, but they've got a better indicator than Jin Air. They got that +4. And
yeah, and keep in mind that CJ Entis, both of their wins was against KT Rolster and SKT here. So that's two of the best teams in this entire, set of teams that we have here down at Pro League.
Strongest for sure.
And able to start off with two quick wins there. CJ Entis, even one of the guys saying in their interview that they were very happy with getting both of those wins. So off to a good start here of CJ.
And I really think that for Samsung, this is a really important moment. They're in top 4. They got to stay there. I think they're on the cusp, of something great. They are looking a little bit stronger these days. It's still early, but they need to keep up that momentum. Now, Losira jumps to the top 3 as well with his recent wins, and that's pretty notable.
Yeah, really cool. We're flying through these CGs today, Wolf. And, of course, today's match, Jin Air Green Wings versus MVP. We got SOS versus Losira as the first matchup on Vaani Research Station, one of our newer maps here. Then we got Pig Baby coming out against Departure on Overgrowth, and Symbol going up against Center, two guys we do not see very often here on Expedition Lost. And then we got Rogue versus Marine King on King Stadium Station. Ace match is Deadwing.
Now, I don't think there's ever been a cast of Pig Baby versus a Zerg where he did not cheese. And by cheese, I don't mean like he did cannon the natural. I mean like he 2-gate proxies in the main on a 2-player map. I've not cast a game where he has not cheesed a Zerg. I know he played pretty straight up when he was playing in NASL, WCS America, for example. But here in Korea, he's pretty cheesy. He's one of those backup sniper players. I'm really excited we're going to get to see him today. Looks like we got some events here. A quiz event.
Yeah, some kind of quiz event. I think the first question is down there on the bottom, but for you guys who can't really understand Korean or are not in the studio, it's going to be kind of hard for you to participate in that, but just to let you know, we got all sorts of fun stuff happening down here at the arena. Definitely come down to Korea and the Pro League studio just to get a good look at what exactly is going on down here, and it's just a lot of fun.
Now, Team Wagukin over here on the right side, Team Salmon, we are 66.6% on our last week predictions. Or actually, I guess it was just Tuesdays, maybe.
Yeah, just Tuesday. I actually sent in a bit of a word today to try to get the overall percentage up there, at the beginning of every cast, just to get a good look at how we're doing overall. I think it would be just a little bit more fun instead of just last day. But, you know, overall we did quite well.
Yeah.
Team Foreigner. And over here, the first player for JNR Green Wings, it's going to be sOs. As you guys do see here for 2015, he hasn't been doing that well, 3-6 so far. And he's really fallen off here a bit, especially against Zerg. JNR Green Wings really losing one of their best players.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they lost him, but he's not quite at his top form, not where he used to be.
He's definitely going to have to take a step back and rethink how he's playing the game right now. Now, Losira does have this special gold outline here, as this guy has been incredible. My by far biggest player to watch this entire season. I know Innovation has a more perfect record than he does, but you expect Innovation to do well. Losira, you expect him to do well in 2011. Not so much 4 years later, but I mean, look at this guy, 7-2, biggest breakout performance. He should probably get an award for it at the end of the season. I mean, this guy is incredible.
Definitely. I forget who we actually gave like most improved or biggest breakout, performance, like you said, for last season. But I would definitely agree with you. I think Losira needs it, at least the way it's going here in the first 2 rounds. Guys, we're going to jump into game number 1 here for JNR Green Wings versus MVP. It's sOs versus Losira. Let's jump into the game. Down here in the south, in the green for the JNR Green Wings, the Protoss player, he is $O$ SOS.
Yes, he is. Into the top in teal. It's Losira. Fast hands, Losira. So quick, he came to the studio before the rest of his team today. I don't even know how or why. Team League with world's best players. Here it is, Pro League.
Now they're translating the signs for us. This is awesome.
I didn't even have to translate that for you guys.
We didn't have to try to look at the weird font and be like, I'm not sure exactly what this means. Or try to get a translation from the producer. Now we just got it there.
Now,
Big shout out to that guy.
Losira has made a name for himself, not only with his brilliant play, but also for his death stare. If you take a look to the bottom left, you can see that he actually has quite the death stare going on right now. He looks very focused.
Yeah.
And also a little bit angry, but I don't think he's angry. I think he's just really focused.
The thing is, I don't know. Him and sOs were kind of joking around before the game. Maybe this is like a strategy out of sOs to get him out of that, leaning forward death stare that he was doing against Solar. That actually reached like top 1 on Starcraft Reddit because it was so intense, man. That was actually scary. I forget who I was casting that with. It might have been you or Moonglade.
I think it was me, but I'm not 100% sure. But it was crazy.
I was just like freaking out, man. I'm like, holy crap! This guy's gonna jump through the screen into the other booth and kill this guy, and then he did.
Losira is just famous for being fast. We always mention this. We always talk about this when he's playing. So you probably heard us say this 1,000 times, but if you look at Caldor's YouTube video with his hands, just look up like Losira first-person view or something like that. Look on Caldor's YouTube channel. Great video showcasing just how fast this guy actually is. You can also keep a close look on his APM. At times it shoots up to like 500.
Yeah, man. I would actually love to get some of the cams just in the booth. I think IM did a great job. At Katowice, they had a bunch of really nice shots during the entire tournament.
They really did.
I would love to get some of that over here. Maybe we can talk to our producer, try to get that set up, but it's just so cool. Like you see a guy microing on screen, and it's not like a huge moment in the game, but then you just switch to Losira's hands. That moment in time. I think it was even on this map the last time he played, where he was just like microing, and his APM went up to like 1,200. Yeah. It would be so cool to just get a look at his mouse hand and see exactly how fast he's clicking.
Well, in this moment for this game, it's been a pretty standard opening. We did see sOs kind of come over here and fake a cannon. sOs known for cannon rushing, especially on 2-player maps. So came over, he faked that cannon. Losira was able to deflect it, and also got his nat down on the outside of his base, which is preferable in this case, because then you can take your third base basically for free after you hold this. To get that creep spread out a little bit.
Exactly.
Definitely better to take the outside one.
What you just said is exactly correct. And talking about this map a little bit for Protoss, it's also quite easy. That third is not so hard to take, and usually Protoss in 3 base can be quite strong. A lot of different things you can do against the Zerg, but I'm sure Losira's got all that in mind. I'm just really curious to see what Losira actually is going to throw at sOs, because SOS, he kind of does crazy stuff in this matchup, but he usually likes to start off with a Stargate, and that's exactly what we see here. But we saw Losira go up against Solar, and he just did some like weird, crazy build in ZVZ that you just did not see, and he somehow made it work.
Yeah, it was insane. The whole time we were watching that ZVZ, we were thinking to ourselves, like, I don't know if he can do this. I don't know if this is going to work. I was never sure until, like, he held the push, and I was like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
It works.
Especially on this map, just a very long rush distance, even though it is 2 players. Just a very long map in general.
Well, you know, at this point in time, we're just starting to see things materialize here. As soon as that Stargate finishes, has been well hidden so far. As soon as that finishes, see if he goes Phoenixes, and in fact he does. You know, you don't really I feel like personally, like, I like Phoenix on this map more than Oracle because Oracle's great at holding a third base. So on this map, your third base isn't that hard to take. I mean, it is kind of down the natural, down the ramp. It's not like connected. You do have to kind of do a little bit of walking to get over there. But I like Phoenix's. There's not a whole. This map is pretty small, so you can clear up a lot of overlords. You can limit vision really easily. And
yeah, I mean, it's not like small, but it's thin. You know, you can easily get that Phoenix like to just zigzag across the map and clear out all those overlords, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And
finds one.
Yeah, SOS, you can see he knows exactly where the Zergs like to hide their overlords. And he goes directly to this spot. He's going to clear that up. There's one more by that third base. He's probably going to want to clean that up. He might just throw down that third base anyway.
Yeah.
In the face of the overlord. I mean, Losira's got to know.
Always want to limit the information if you can, but it will delay the Nexus to actually kill this overlord because Phoenixes, they do damage, but not very quickly.
Yeah, and look at this, actually. Losira getting quite nicely supply blocked here. He only had 1 extra overlord on the way. Now he's got 2 on the way, but he had to like make those as he was getting supply blocks. So not a lot of production here for a while out of Losira.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty annoying. He's got 8 on Skunt Larva right now. I see the pop into drones as soon as the overlords pop. 8 of them right away.
Yep.
And, you know, just more Phoenix harass, you could say. Not really harass so much as cleanup. It's just a little cleanup job here. It looks like he stopped at 3 Phoenixes for a while, but is now making a 4th one. And look at that Overlord stack there for Losira. He's like really got those stacked up on the defensive right there.
And he's not messing around. He's already got 1 Spore Crawler down. He's putting down a 2nd one near that gas. And he's also got a Hydralisk Den on the way.
Yeah, and this is going to be quite important and quite helpful because we have a pretty unique upgrade going down here. The +1 for air weapons coming out for SOS. Now, we've seen him doing a lot of experimentation. We've seen him do a lot of air toss type stuff. But getting those upgrades out really early is going to give the Phoenixes quite a bit of dominance. I kind of like this, you know. It's not like unheard of to get the +1 this fast, but it's definitely not as common as getting it towards the late game.
It's different. It's interesting. And I wonder if this kind of hints at a bit of air toss play a little bit later on, maybe adding in some Void Rays as well, dropping down the Colossi. We do see the next tech for him, though, is that Twilight Council. And I wonder if he's just going to grab Blink as well. I mean, he does have a lot of options from here.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of harass here. Actually going to get 3 drones on the transfer.
Yeah,
might get a
7 in
4th.
total. And now 8, but the Hydras are out.
And they're all together, which is really important, because if they're not, then sometimes the Phoenixes can actually pick one off on the edge. Wow, this is really, really quite something, man. He's going into Zealot legs. And
yeah.
I mean, this is not like what you would expect to see out of anybody but SOS these days.
Yeah, it's not a very common upgrade against Zerg in general.
Losira is having problems with his drones because it's not actually an issue of the spores, which he has like really committed to here. In fact, he's even making a 3rd one at that base.
Yeah, he's not messing around.
It's just an issue of he's getting them picked off while they transfer, which is actually really quite difficult to manage, even with Losira's like 400 APM at times. Like he's hovering around there every now and then here in this game. It's like when your drones spawn and they go across, if you're not babysitting them at that exact moment, when the Phoenixes are there with your Hydras, they're going to get killed. But if you're doing that, then when your drones transfer to your other base and the Phoenixes just happen to be there and your Hydras are out of position, you're going to lose some drones. It's just going to happen. Especially with this many Phoenixes. He's gone up to now 8 Phoenixes. That's a lot of Phoenixes, man, this early.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to stop production there. He's putting a lot of his minerals into just a bunch of Zealots while getting a bunch of tech.
He's getting
Storm.
Storm.
Yeah, he's got Storm on the way. He's putting down his robotics facility. He's got +2 to the melee upgrades, or rather just the ground upgrades here for the Protoss.
He's actually really, really micromanaging these Phoenixes. And the next logical transition, I feel, for Losira is to go into these swarm hosts that he's doing. I mean, that's what I'd be thinking. But it's going to be difficult for him to actually get those out and get them across the map with the Phoenixes marauding around the map the entire time. And the fact that his Hydras have to stay at home this whole time means he can't ever walk across the map to pressure a third base. So, I mean, back at home, he's been able to get away with all this tech without making really any gateway units, SOS that is, because these Phoenixes have kept Losira just so focused on base defense.
Yeah, I just really want to see this all unfold. I want to see, like, SOS's, you know, just end game here. I was saying before that I want to see what Losira throws out because he's been playing pretty interesting builds these days, but SOS really mixing it up here. And just a lot of gateways, you notice.
Yeah.
He's got the War Prism out now. He's kind of playing like Hero does, you know?
Yeah.
Especially against the Swarm Host. He notices this is going on. He's like, okay, we're going Swarm Host. I got to make some War Prisms. Let's throw down some extra gates. Let's go around those Swarm Hosts and just put on the pressure at your bases. He's got so many of these Phoenixes to back up like a huge Warpin. If he wants to go for that back at that, you know, that backdoor base, he can really put on the hurt here.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think that SOS just wants to attack. I think he actually wants to aggressively kill this fourth base right now. He's moving across the map. He has the means to do it. He does have the means to do it, though. There are 11 swarm hosts, so that might put a damper on things. Let's see if they're in the position when he hits, because he's going to draw these units back now with a ton of charged zealots.
This is so huge, man. There is no defense here. There's one queen. You got a bunch of spore crawlers. Those are good against the Phoenixes, but those Hydras have to go all the way around.
So many drones going down here already, and if he just focuses that base, well,
he should have just left right-clicked on that base, I think.
I think so too.
He's going for more Warpins, man. Here we go.
And he's got Phoenixes here with +1 to lift the Hydras. He's actually, I think, might just going to engage these. Yeah, picking them up. He's actually going to fight this straight up. And meanwhile, he's got a huge force coming across the middle of the map as well.
I think he should have gone for that fourth base, killed the fourth base. I'm not sure where those units are going, actually. He's not multitasking too well.
Yeah, it's really tough, you know, to actually control your army. I think he could have actually ascended over there, but it's tough to control your army while you're picking the stuff up with Phoenixes. But maybe he was just trying to snipe these swarm hosts. And you know what? If he has an observer over here, he's definitely going to be able to grab him.
Where's that observer? He's coming in.
Oh,
he's got to be careful about that swarm, that spore crawler rather. He's trying to get the detection in.
This is actually insane. Now, he needs another wave of locusts, but guess what? There's a sentry in this army.
There we go. Huge storms on the drones as well.
This is a crazy game we're watching right now. I don't even know what to say about this. I think that Losira is dead, man.
It's looking like it. He's lost 59 drones, man. He's got barely anything here in his base.
He's just making more. He's just making more Hydras, but guess what? There's like 2 Colossi with range about to be popping out at home too. People are going crazy about this, man. Like that game was insanely cool. Really unique style. Very, very SOS. Some of that experimentation is starting to actually pay off, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like he's been practicing this kind of style. He definitely came in today very prepared. That's for sure. And Losira looks beat, man. He's down in the dumps right now. He just got squashed like a bug.
I could tell he was starting to get frustrated in that game because there was a moment where he had to like the 4th spore crawl at that one base. I'm like, he's getting into your head, man. He's like got you totally locked down because the Phoenixes keep the Hydras at home. I almost feel like he should have made a wave of Speedlings or something to send across the map because...
Well, he made a wave of Speedlings, but then he kind of freaked out and he used them to defend against all those +2 Zealots when he had no ground upgrades except the +1 to range, which don't affect Zerglings. And he just like lost all of them instantly to the Zealots. I'm like, oh, this isn't looking good. There was a moment in time as well where he was trying to send the Hydras after the Phoenixes, but they went the wrong way and they had to go all the way around, like towards the third base and through the main to defend. And when they got there, they were so late and they all just died anyway because the Zealots were so heavily upgraded with charge.
Yeah, I just feel like the best way to describe that game for Losira is just like he was flustered. You know, he definitely got locked down hard by those Phoenixes. That was a really cool, very technical strat out of SOS. SOS does this in Pro League, guys. He plays pretty straight up when he plays in individual leagues, but when he plays in Pro League, he loves to just have a really specific build. Like, we've seen him do some crazy fake hallucination builds. We've seen him do, you know, all sorts of, like, aggressive fake attacks that are like really unique. But this